Hello there. Today we learn on how to draw a compound bar graph. To draw this graph we should follow the following procedures. For example, we have a table here and we're required to draw a compound bar graph by using this table. Our table shows different crops. We have 3 crops. We have maize, we have a coffee, we have a tea. And this data of different years. We have 2021, 2022 and 2023. So to draw a compound bar graph, first we need to find the total of the data for each year. This means we have different crops, but 2021 we should know the total of the crops, 2022 we should know the total of the crops, and 2023 we also need to know the total of the crops. So we'll add here 600 for 2021, 200 and 100, which will be equal to 900. We'll write here at the total table. Again, 500 plus 300 plus 200, which will be equal to 1000. We'll write there. And also 400, 700 and 200, which almost equals to 900, will be here. So after knowing the total, then we come to draw our graph. We will choose a suitable scale and draw a graph. For example, let's say this part. This part where we will draw a graph here. For a vertical scale, we have chosen to write 1000 for each centimeter. So the easiest way to draw is first we draw the total of each year. A total of each year. So we have seen in this graph that for 2021 all the crops, the total is 900. So we draw a bar graph here. We draw a bar graph which is 900 for 2021. So we'll draw a bar graph for 2021 with the total of the total of 900. So we draw this one, a full total. I'm using this one to draw a bar graph. Let me use a hand, but you can use a ruler. I'm holding a phone. So we'll draw this one, a total of 900 here for 2021. Again, for the second year, 2022, the total is 1000. So we draw a bar graph from this year to 1000, a full bar graph by using a ruler. You should draw by using a ruler there. And for the last year, 2023, the total is 900. So also we'll draw a bar graph to this one up to 900. After drawing, the next thing is we divide. This is compound. Compound is drawn first. We take each year. So we start with 2021. The first data was maize, which is 600. Then, so from this point, 600 is this one. We cut at this point. So this is 600, which represent a maize. But in the same year, there is coffee. Coffee is 200. So we add 600 plus 200, which will be equal to 800. Then we cut on top of it. So from this point to this point is a first crop, which is maize, but there is a coffee. So we add 200 from 600, we get 800, which will represent this part of coffee. And the last data is tea, which is 100. So 800 plus 100 will end up here into 900. So we have divided our graph into several portions. So we draw by using procedures the next bar, which is 2022. Maize was 500. So 500, this point we cut this, we draw a line here, 500. The next data for 2022 is coffee, which is 300. So we add 500 plus 300, we get 800. So in 800 we draw another line there. So this graph will represent maize. this part would represent coffee. So from the 800, the last data for 2022 is tea, which is 200. So 800 plus 200, you get 1000. So the graph will end up here. And lastly, for 2023, maize was 400. So we'll draw a line to 400, this point here. After 400, we add a coffee, which is 300. So 400 plus 300 will be equal to 700. So we draw another line there to 700. Then from 700, the last data is of tea, which is 200. So 700 plus 200 will be equal to 900 here at this point. So our graph will be of several portions. The first portion here was of maize. The second portion for each bar represent coffee, and the last portion for each bar represent tea. So after that, you can shade in either way, but for me, I've chosen a maize to represent this color, a red color. So I will shade here for each part of maize. I'll use this color to shade there for each bar that represent maize for each part. So I'm drawing it roughly there. But the second portion here is represented by coffee, and I've chosen a green color to represent a coffee. So I'll also shade this part to represent coffee. I'll shade these parts to represent coffee. And the last portion is of tea, which I've chosen this color to represent tea. So I will add up there. So finally, your graph will look like this. So to draw, we only add the first data, we draw, you add another data, you draw again, then you draw another data. Thank you for today.